For a phony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everybody. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath Kello Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour. It's so great to have you guys along. And a big thank you. We hit over 500 subscribers on YouTube. I've been begging here the last few days. I'm going to keep on begging. I'm going to keep begging for subscribers to the Greg Belfrage Show on YouTube. So we're up to 502 now. So we hit that milestone, shooting for the next one. And thanks so much to all of you. I appreciate all of you making part of your, joining, letting me join you for part of your day. All right, let's bring you some more news. The FBI has made an arrest in that January 6th pipe bomb probe. Suspect has been arrested, not named at this point. No, wait. He was named now. Fox News was reporting just as I was getting off the air that he had not been named yet. New York Post says Brian Cole of Woodbridge, Virginia, was collared Thursday morning, set to be arraigned in D.C. federal court at 1 p.m. Eastern time today. So and there are a lot of photos. New York Post has got more on this story. Surveillance footage showed a person carrying a backpack, wearing a gray hooded sweatshirt, along with a mask and gloves and so on. He had viable explosive devices. He put them at both Democrat and Republican headquarters or I should say offices. So both Democrat and Republican offices on the night of January 5th, 2021. Trying to see if there's anything else that we can learn about him at this point. A lot of New York Post has got photos of the devices and so on. So they've been looking for this person for quite a period of time. Dan Bongino, the deputy FBI director, suggested last year he thought that what happened was an inside job, involved a massive cover-up. So when Bongino arrived at the FBI, he said, we brought in new personnel to take a look at the case. We flew in officers and detectives working as task force officers to review FBI work. We conducted multiple internal reviews, held countless in-person other meetings, so on. So it seems like they're making progress. So someone has been arrested for those pipe bombs, and that has been ongoing for some period of time. There's been another story that has been in my stack of stuff this week about this student who failed a Bible-based essay on gender. She's a student at the University of Oklahoma. She flunked a Bible-based essay on gender that was assigned by a transgender instructor. And so she flunked it, received 0 of, I think, like 25 points for it. So she has now filed a discrimination complaint with the school last week after she was given an F for arguing in her psychology class paper that belief in multiple genders was demonic. That's the point that she was making. And the school has since said the failing grade will have no bearing on her final grade. The professor was placed on leave Administrators also then they have an investigation that they launched that is underway. Um, this is a transgender grad student who had graded her paper, had asked students to write a 650-word response to an academic article that weighed whether conformity with gender norms was associated with popularity or bullying among middle school students. And she said, she wrote in her piece, she said that belief in multiple genders would lead society to move farther from God's original plan for humans, which is what the left's all about. They want to move away from God's. That is what leftists are totally on board with that. And she says, I live my life based on this truth, firmly believed that there would be less gender issues and insecurities in children if they were raised knowing that they do not belong to themselves, but they belong to the Lord. Now, whether you agree or disagree with this, you have got to appreciate what she's saying. These are her beliefs. Now, I happen to believe, I happen to agree with her. Those are my beliefs as well. I also understand that there are a lot of people who will disagree, who will they look at things differently. That's all right. You know what's so amazing is the fact that, we live in times where you can no longer just disagree, where you have apparently people like this transgender grad student grading this, giving her no points. Yeah, no. You just can't disagree with that. You don't get any points. She made an effort. She completed the assignment. Whether you agree or disagree really is irrelevant, I think, in terms of what she was pursuing. That's what she was asked to write. That's what she wrote on. You disagreed with her opinion. Get the hell over it. I mean, that's what's this is just flaky. It's concerning is what it is, at least to me, that we see folks who, we saw this with Charlie Kirk. And I talked about this a little bit, with, what happened to Charlie Kirk and the way that he was singled out for his beliefs. You've got a growing number of people in this country who cannot stand to have anybody, they do not want to hear from anyone who disagrees with them. And I've never seen this in my lifetime. I really have, maybe here or there, folks, and you went, what the hell is that all about? Most folks, we don't respond that way, but we are seeing that more and more, and it's really kind of really incredible. So another story I want to share with you this morning. The chief of police in Minneapolis, we can't help ICE, don't have enough police officers to deal with crime. So this was on CNN yesterday morning, yesterday's broadcast on CNN. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara said, well, the reason that we can't help ICE is, he said, I don't have enough cops to deal with the actual crime that's happening in our community. And I want to break that down because I do not mean to be disrespectful to the chief. That may, in fact, be what's going on because we have known and we have seen it. Minneapolis has not been eager to fund their police. Minneapolis was right at the forefront of the defund the police movement. And that's why you see the placard over my shoulder here that says, we back the blue, right? It was a result of that. That's why I've still got that hanging there. We back the blue. We back our law enforcement. We back our police. And Minneapolis, that has not been the case. Minneapolis was defunding the police and all of this. Totally understand where he's coming from. So he's saying he didn't have enough police to to deal with the actual crime, let alone help ICE. And he said, now you've said your department's not going to help ICE carry out any raids. Now, critics, they argue that the raids will target dangerous criminals. Police protection could really save lives. Why do you stand firm in not assisting? And he said, well, for one, it's against the law here in this city, but two, on a more basic level, it's my mission to deal with crime and violence. The immigration authorities do not respond to domestic violence. They do not respond to shootings and robberies. I do not have enough police to deal with the actual crime that's happening in our community. So it's not our job. They're not going to do our job for us. And just frankly, I think the effect on the community, the way this stuff is being carried out, this is where he starts going sideways. This is where you start to see the Minneapolis effect occurring here. I think the effect on the community, it's making people terrified. I'm concerned that people who may need help are going to be afraid to call 911. Again, I mean, how many times do we have to beg with people, if you're in the country illegally, get out of the country? How many times do we have to say it? We've been saying it for months, for years. You're in the country illegally. Do yourself a favor. Self-deport. Get out of the country on your own. Do it now. Tom Holman talked about it. He said, we'll allow folks who want to leave. We're going to allow you to leave. Get out of the country. It's just the same thing over and over again. And that is the very definition of insanity, is when you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Just blows my mind what we see happening. All right. Also this morning, Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa talking about DOGE. She has been solidly behind DOGE and efforts in Congress in particular. And so Senator Ernst was on Breitbart's Alex Marlowe show yesterday. And Ernst said, DOGE is here to stay. And I've already been approached by a fairly new member of the Senate and said, I love working on DOGE. I would love to fill your shoes as you're exiting the Senate. So she's got a couple of years left, I think, in her term before her term in the U.S. Senate actually comes to a conclusion. But she is saying others in the body want to continue the work that, the DOGE committee, Elon Musk, Joni Ernst, a number of others as well. I think there have been a lot of people who have been interested in seeing government, cutting out the waste in government. We've been talking about it for decades. That we have seen, there have been reports that have come out on an annual, the pig, the pork report that comes out. I forget the actual name of the report, comes out every year, shows, the government waste and what they're spending money on. And we've all seen it year after year after year. And I have a high degree of respect for people who are trying to eliminate waste where they find it in government. Iowa Senator Joni Ernst has been one of those. Now, I got a kick out of this, which is why I share this story from Breitbart. Ellen DeGeneres, you'll remember she went over to Great Britain. She moved to Great Britain. She was done with the United States. Done with the United States. That's it. Not coming back, not going to live in the United States, especially the United States under Donald Trump. Can't live in the United States under Donald Trump, except when it's wintertime. Except when it's wintertime, when it's cold over in the UK. It's going to be cold. So she's moving back to California until it warms back up. So this is what cracks me up. Yeah, I'm done with the United States. I'm out of here. How many of these people have we heard say that? And then at least Ellen DeGeneres, I give her some credit. She left. Rosie O'Donnell's another one who left. They actually left. And I thought, hey, listen, if you feel that distraught, you can't live in the United States because Donald Trump wins the election. And I think not only Donald Trump, you and I won. Folks on Main Street Americans won this election. And you can't live in the United States. You know what? By all means, you've got the freedom to be able to do that. Do it. Just go. What I respect that. I really do. I have some degree of respect for that they followed through on it. What I have no time for are the Alec Baldwins, the Robert De Niro's, the rest of them who are saying, oh, if Trump wins, I'm going to leave the country. So I'm getting out of the country. And then, of course, they don't leave. They don't even move across the country. They just stay. And they continue to poison, I think, the political atmosphere with just a lot of toxic nonsense. But that's funny. So I'm going to leave the United States until it gets too cold, and then I'm going to come back. Oh, that just cracked me up. All right, I'm going to leave it there for today. You have made it to the end of the video today, so you are part of my gallery of champions. Special salute to the Bunker Brigade. I appreciate each and every one of you. Don't doubt it. I mean, you are giving up your time. You're spending time with me, and it really means a lot. So thank you so much. I will see you again tomorrow, my friend. So until then, I'm underground and gone.